So what do we have here? So given that y equals this fraction where x is strictly positive, express each of the following in the form kx to the power n, where k and n are constants. All right. So they want us to express it in this form, y to the power minus half. Now all this is saying, you have an expression for y. What happens if you put power of minus half on it? So essentially it's going to be the whole expression, 64 x to the power 6 over 25 all to the power of minus a half. Well, thankfully we have calculators here, yeah? So all you have to do is attach this power of minus half to everything. So all of this here is going to become 64 to the power of minus half, x to the power 6 times minus half, so everything goes on the power line, and 25 to the power of minus half. Well, these two results, 64 to the power of minus half and 25 to the power of minus half, you can put it in the calculator, and if you do so, you're going to get exactly 5 over 8. Now, as for the 6, you just multiply the power level, so 6 times minus a half. If you do that, you get x to the minus 3. Okay, so that's A done. Now for B, so now they wrapped up 25 to the y, all to the power 2 over 3. Okay, so same thing applies here. This time we're going to multiply this by 25. So 25 times the fraction here, well, what happens? This 25 cancels out because 25 over 25 goes. So you're left with now 25y equals 64x to the power 6. Now you want to put all of this to the power of 2/3. So now we're going to wrap all of this up by 2/3. And that's it. So now all you want to do is essentially, like the other one, evaluate everything here. Okay, so let me just clear this out. So in our calculator, we're just going to put 64 to the power 2/3. Doing so, and I did it before, you're going to get 16. Now x to the power 6 times 2/3, so this is x. You're just going to do 6 times 2/3, and that's going to give us a 4. All right, number 5. So find the first 4 terms in ascending powers of x of the binomial expansion of the following, given each term in its simplest form. All right, so this is a straight up binomial expansion question, yeah? Now, there's a super easy method. I'm just going to show you how it's done step by step. So what we begin, so we can say for part A, the expansion, so the answer is going to equal, well, about equal, because it's an estimate, because you're only going up to the first 4 terms. To do this, we start with the first term, so we write 1 plus, and then we take the second form. So it'll be x over 3 times its power. So let's start with the power first, so 18 times x over 3. And now, what we have here, we've got the first and second term. So we've got 2 more terms left. Now for the next term, it's the same thing. So we use the same number, so 18, and we go 1 back. So subtract 18 from 1 is 17. So I can put them in a bracket. And because there's 2 terms here, over 2 factorial. And we copy this, the x over 3. So if this was power 1, this is going to be power of 2. And that's it. Now we got 1, 2, 3 terms. Now for the next term, it's the same thing. So it'll be 18 times 17, so always go one down, 16. There's 3 values, 3 factorial, times x over 3 to the power of 3. And that's it, guys. Now all you do here is just simplify these calculations, yeah? I'm going to just delete this power 1 here. And to do this efficiently in your calculator, because that's the whole point here. So we've got the first term, which is 1, so that checks out, plus, in your calculator, just ignore the x over here. So treat this as a 1. So you'd write 18 times 1 over 3. And that would give me, or us, 6x. So here's the next one, yeah? Again, you do the same thing here. Make sure you use the factorial button. Even though it's obvious for 2 factorial, for higher values, you don't be making that mistake. So in your calculator, write all of this again, replacing x with 1. So it'd be 18 times 17 over 2 factorial times 1 over 3, all brackets squared. Doing so, you should get 17x squared. And lastly, repeat the same for the last term, and you'll get a fraction answer this time, which would be 272 over 9x to the power of 3. And that's it, guys. That's A done. Okay, so all of this is straightforward. Use a straightforward method and it works. Okay, next one, part B, yeah? So using the answer to part A, so our estimate equation right here, to find an estimate value for 31 over 30 to the power 18, stating the value x that you have used and shown you're working, give you an estimate of 4 decimal places. Alright, it's a little tongue twister. So looking at both of these expressions, what they're trying to say, if we can match the fractional term 1 plus x over 3 with 31 over 30 to find the value x, we can use that x to plug into this equation and get an answer. That's the simple way. So what we can say, these two are the same when 1 plus x over 3 is 31 over 30. Now, in order to get x, all we could do is simply subtract 1 across and then multiply by 3. And when you do that, you'll get an x value of 1 because it's more convenient. Now, according to the question, it says stating a value of x, which we just did, give your estimate to 4 decimal places. So we're going to estimate this value using our x value. So all you have to do, replace all of this x's here with 0.1. So to show you working out, always do this in your exams. You're going to write 1 plus 6 times 0.1 plus 17 times 0.1 squared and so on, yeah? I recommend you do that just in case they might drop you marks for not actually showing it, yeah? And when you put this in a calculator, and you get an answer to 4 decimal places of roughly 1.8002. And that's it, guys. This question is wrapped up. Okay, guys, number 6. So here we need to find the exact values of x for which this log equation equals 2. All right? Give your answers as simplified surds. Ooh, all right. So to solve this kind of a log equation, we just need to know some log properties. So let's have a look at it, yeah? So the general log rules, I'm going to write 2 of them, yeah? One that involves this multiplication bit, 2 times a log, and another one that involves subtracting logs. So if you got something like n times a log, let's ignore the base 5, yeah? Log a we call it. That's the same as writing log a to the power of n. Okay, so these are identical expressions, and we're going to apply that. Now, if you're subtracting logs, let's say we got log a minus log b. This is the same as saying log a divided by b. So this uses the division rule. And likewise, if you're adding logs, it will be log a times log b, log a b. So log a times b. Oh my god. Okay, so that's really it. Now let's apply these rules to the question, yeah? So in this case, we've got 2 times the log, so this becomes a power. So let's put a line here. This means from the question, we got log, don't worry about the base 5 for a second. So log base 5, x plus 5, the 2 becomes a power here. Then we put minus log 5 2x plus 2 equals 2. So just copy the rest. Now, using the subtraction law, if you subtract, you end up dividing the terms in log. So therefore, we're going to have a log 5 inside a big bracket, so a over b, be x plus 5 squared over 2x plus 2. Now all of this is going to equal, of course, the right hand side, which is 2. Now what do we do from here? So now there's like another property, and it's called the log ladder method, or at least I made up. So the rule is that we want to try and eliminate the log. Now the nice way to eliminate it is to firstly hold this fixed, and then using the ladder rule, this 5 goes up a level and this 2 goes up a level. So the equation becomes the inside bit, so x plus 5 squared over 2x plus 2 equals 5 goes up and this 2 goes up as well, and that's it. That's the transformation, yeah? So the general rule is, if you had the log a, let's say log a b equals x, we hold b fixed, so it'd be b equals a to the power of x, so it uses the step rule. B stays fixed, a goes up a level, x goes up a level, okay? So now we're almost done actually. So now this is just a case of solving this simple fraction equation. So let me just move my face over there. So what can we do here? Well, I guess we can times 2x plus 2 across. And oh yeah, 5 squared is 25. So we can say we've got x plus 5 squared equals 25 times 2x plus 2. Let's go ahead and expand both sides of the brackets, yeah? So x plus 5 squared, that's just literally x plus 5 times x plus 5. I'm going to assume you guys are comfortable with it. When you multiply out, you're going to get x squared plus 10x plus 25 equals. And on the right side, 25 times everything inside gives us 50x plus 50. Okay, so now we see something. We can see that we're producing a quadratic equation, yeah? So we've got an x squared term, a regular x term, and a number term. Let's throw everything on the other side, yeah? So I'm going to move this 50x and this 50 to the left. And to do that, we need to subtract them, yeah? So minus 50x across, 10x, take away 50x, gives us minus 40x. Subtracting 50, 25 take away 50 is minus 25. And that's it, we're almost done. Now, after all the steps, what they really want is a simplified surd for the value of x, yeah? So let's try and give them that, yeah? So, since we got a quadratic equation, we could use a quadratic formula. You could also complete the square as another way, but let's stick to the formula because that way we'll get it right. So let's say x equals a quadratic formula, which is minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Alright, and we're almost done. Now we're going to replace every term. So what is a, b, and c? Well, a is the first term of the x squared, so if there's no value, it means 1, so a is 1. B is the x terms, the value from the x terms would be minus 40. So this from, and c would be the minus 25. So now we're just going to substitute this in, so make sure you substitute in carefully, guys, yeah? Notice one thing, this is a minus b. And since b is negative, minus b would be positive, so it would be 40 plus minus b squared would be minus 40 squared, or you can just write 40 squared, because squaring a negative is positive, but let's just keep it like that. Minus 4 times 1 times minus 25. Quick tip, guys, yeah? Keep everything in a bracket when you replace letters, so that way you don't make any simple mistakes. Over 2 times a, 2 times 1. And that's it. Now putting this in your calculator, and you should get two answers. First, you put the plus and the minus, or you get the same answer. You're going to get x equals 20 plus or minus 5 root 7. And that's it, guys. This question is done.